Hi, this is David Glover, and I'd like to talk to you about planning your triathlon season. When we talk about planning a whole season, we're basically talking about creating a big picture plan. The first thing you need to start with are what are your goals for the year, whether it's just to complete your first sprint triathlon or your first Ironman, or maybe you want to PR in a certain distance, or you want to podium in some race. Whatever your goals are, that's a good starting point. A few key things to remember. The longer the races you do, so for example, if you're doing half and Ironman distance events, the fewer races you're going to be able to do in a year, just because of the required build-up, racing, and then recovery period. You want to use shorter events as training races leading up to your larger races. These shorter events give you the opportunity to practice pacing, nutrition, and just evaluate where your fitness is at right now. A good rule of thumb I like to use is to race about once a month. And this could be either a triathlon or a swim, bike, or running event that they're using as training to prepare you for your triathlon races. A key principle to remember is the principle of specificity. I like to think of it as a funnel. So if you start at the top of the funnel, it's wide, and so it gives you a lot of variety and latitude in the type of training you can do. But as you get closer and closer to your race, the funnel gets narrower and narrower, so your training has to become more race-like. So depending where you are in training cycle, if you're further out, you can do more different activities. So for example, if you're in a out west and you have access to skiing, maybe during the winter you integrate cross-country skiing or downhill skiing as part of your training. But come the spring, as it gets closer and closer to racing season, you're going to have to shift your focus to the swimming, biking, and running workouts. And remember, when you're thinking about your season, that there's some science in putting together your plan, but there's a lot of art. It's very individual, so there's no one size fits all. So in some cases, I can give you some guidelines, but you're going to have to do trial and error over a period of time and see what works best for you. Some steps to build your annual plan. So I like to use a spreadsheet and list each week as a separate row. What this allows me to do is to see the whole year on one page. And you really want to start by filling out key events. Key events could be your big races, but they could also be other social events. They could be weddings, they could be vacation, they could be work travel. And start filling in what you need. And once you have those key things in there, you can start to build the schedule around it. And really, you want to start backwards from your key races back till today. And again, if you're focused on a longer race, you want to add in one or two shorter races as a build-up. So for example, if I'm doing an Ironman race in July, I might want to do a half Ironman race in May and an international race in April. So use them as stepping stones as one builds up to the next. And again, it's a way to measure your fitness and evaluate your training at that point in time. And it's key to remember that you want to train both your strengths and weaknesses. So if you only focus on your strengths and neglect your weaknesses, you're not going to be as balanced an athlete. Because triathlon is 3 different sports, it behooves you to be as well trained in each as possible. And don't forget transitions too. It's an easy way to get faster in every race. If you need help or if this is your first time planning your season, find a mentor or a coach or an athlete that's more experienced that can help you. Good luck, and be sure to check out our Planning Your Triathlon Season webinar in the School of Tri library. You can also find a downloadable spreadsheet template that you can easily use to create your own annual training plan.